Good morning. Welcome to Unity Church in Sheboygan. My name is Tom Kloiber. I will be doing the service today. Reverend Aubrey is off. She'll be back next week. We're happy to have all the people here in the congregation, as well as those who are watching with us live streaming. So welcome to all of you. If you would please turn off any of your cell phones or pagers unless you need them for an emergency. That would be helpful. And so we will start with our first song, God Bless the USA.
If tomorrow all things were gone, I worked for all my life, and I had to start again, just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave their life to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and remember still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this man. God bless the USA. From the lakes of to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to sky to sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time to stand and say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave their life to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and remember still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave their life to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and remember still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Perfect song for the 4th of July. This is usually the point in the service where Reverend Aubrey Lynn tells us what's going on down at the riverfront. She has her eye on the birds across the way and whether they're flying over and eating this one. And then the seagulls come in and they take fish out of the water, and all has a contemplative message to it, meaningful. I think last week, a couple weeks ago, there was fog coming in off the water, and that was very romantic and very nice. But well, she's not here today. I happened to have been down there yesterday, and I think she might have had a different take on what happened in the riverfront. Because she might have said, "Oh my God, what is going on out here? There are hundreds of people, they're singing and dancing. There's a big parade that went by. Oh my gosh, and there was music going on all day long. And the fireworks at night were up in the air, and it was beautiful. I wonder what was happening." And as we begin our day in prayer, what was happening? What was happening down there? along the riverfront and everywhere else across the country. There's a time for remembering our freedom, that we have all for those who allowed us to have this freedom here and now. And for that, we're so grateful for all the people who worked so hard through the many hundreds of years to have freedom today, freedom within ourselves and freedom within the country, and hopefully freedom worldwide. And for that and for so much more, we are so grateful. Amen. Amen. We have a vision and a mission statement here at Unity, and if you could join me in saying those. Our vision is that we are a spiritual community of love, peace, and acceptance. And our mission is we are creating an inclusive spiritual community through fellowship, service, and community outreach. Now I'd like to ask Dave Pauly to come forward, please, and read the daily word and light the Christ candle for us, and join me in the flames of faith.
Thanks, Tom. Good morning.
Good morning.
The word for today is freedom. In thought, word, and action, I celebrate my freedom. There are many ways to feel free. I may work hard to become financially free. I may plan trips so I can freely explore the world. I may commit to learning for intellectual freedom or exercise my body for greater freedom of movement. Even as I do my work in the world to know freedom, I remember that I am always free at the level of spirit. No situation or circumstance has power over me. Every day and in every area of my life, I live from my divine nature, where I am wholly and completely free. Through my inner powers of understanding and faith, I recognize and embrace empowering beliefs. My spiritual gifts of strength and release keep me on course and help me free myself from habits that derail my spiritual growth. Through God within, I am grateful to be free. And from Galatians, for freedom Christ has set us free. That is the daily word. Let this Christ candle be a reminder to all of us that at essence we are spirits, and as spirits we are filled with love, compassion, peace, and understanding. And our mission today is to just be who we are.
Thank you, David. We perform the Flames of Faith ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the ununifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And we light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them at this center, and for all religions unnamed in this ceremony. Thank you, David.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Our meditation today is a reading of the poem by Unit Poet Laureate James Dillard Freeman called I Am There. It's interesting that I'm sure many of you are aware that a copy of this poem has been taken to the moon by the astronauts. Actually, it was the Apollo 15 astronauts, and the year was 1971. And doing the math, that's 50 years ago. Pretty remarkable. So please prepare yourself for meditation, relax, find a comfortable spot. Let these words infill you. Do you need me? I am there. You cannot see me, yet I am the light you see by. You cannot hear me, yet I speak through your voice. You cannot feel me, yet I am the power at work in your hands. I am at work, though you do not understand my ways. I am at work, though you do not recognize my works. I am not strange visions. I am not mysteries. Only in absolute stillness, beyond self, can you know me as I am, and then only as a feeling and a faith. Yet I am there, yet I hear, yet I answer. When you need me, I am there. Even if you deny me, I am there. Even when you feel most alone, I am there. Even in your fears, I am there. Even in your pain, I am there. I am there when you pray and when you do not pray. I am in you, and you are in me. Only in your mind can you feel separate from me, for only in your mind are the mists of yours and mine. Yet only with your mind can you know me and experience me. Empty your heart of empty fears. When you get yourself out of the way, I am there. You can of yourself do nothing, but I can do all, and I am in all. Though you may not see the good, good is there, for I am there. I am there because I have to be, because I am. Only in me does the world have meaning. Only out of me does the world take form. Only because of me does the world go forward. I am the law on which the movement of the stars and the growth of living cells are founded. I am the love that is the laws fulfilling. I am assurance. I am peace. I am oneness. I am the law that you can live by. I am the love that you can cling to. I am your assurance. I am your peace. I am one with you. I am. Though you fail to find me, I do not fail you. Though your faith in me is unsure, my faith in you never wavers, because I know you, because I love you. Beloved, I am there. So, today we celebrate Independence Day. But are we just another country that is celebrating the time when we broke away from some other controlling entity that had been in charge of us? It does seem like the natural yearning for humankind to want to be free from somebody else. As we grow up, we always think we know better than someone else, and we want to be free to do as we wish. We think we know better than our parents, of course, and we want to be free to do as we want to. This is my oldest son, Nate. He was just here for the last week. As we speak, he's on his way back to Florida. I'm sure either now or many, many years ago, he thought he knew better than his parents, and he wanted to do as he wished. With us here today is my granddaughter, Riley. Riley is Nate's daughter. I'm sure if not now, she's about to be a teenager quite soon. I'm sure she either feels now or in the near future that she knows better than her father. So what goes around comes around. But we always think that we know better. When we're at work, we feel that the job that the boss just gave us, we can do a better job than he can. And so we always try to. And the same thing applies to people living in different countries. But as Unity author Emmett Smith said in his book, Alter Your Life, it was the success of the American Revolution that established the doctrine of the rights of man in its truest sense. As the doctrine of the right to individual freedom on all planes, which belongs to man as the image and likeness of God. For that is what the phrase in the Declaration of Independence concerning life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness really means. Does that not mesh so well with our unity concept of freedom, as we know we are the individualization of the one power and the one presence? And how could we be anything else? The assertion of the divine right of every man and woman to develop in their own way is the fundamental right of man. After we think about the development of intellectual, social, and political freedoms, the next important step for humanity was really the idea of truth as we know it in unity. The great revelation of the allness and availability of God. The idea that God is everywhere present and at all times, and that every person has the right and power of direct access to God without the mediation of any person, institution, or human authority. And that really is the meaning of the clause in the Declaration that says, all men are created equal. This doctrine of the allness and immediate availability of God is the most revolutionary and most important discovery that the human mind has ever come up with. Namely, that the immanence of God means that God is instantly available to any human being who will turn to God in thought for healing, for inspiration, or for help of any kind. I would like to mention a few words about an Indian philosopher named J. Krishnamurti. He has some things to say to us that can give us more insights on this idea of freedom. He would actually not give any credence to the idea of him being from India, or being a philosopher for that matter, because he would think that had no relevance at all. And there's always been the idea in many circles of that of the Messiah, and particularly Jesus, coming back to earth to straighten things out, and so that we will finally get our act together and know what we're supposed to be doing. Other cultures have thought the same thing. They want the world teacher would come, and eventually that would straighten things out, and the world would be better. But something happened along the way. In the early 20th century, in India, the thought was that this Krishnamurti would become the new world teacher. They deduced through clairvoyance, or the seeing and sensing of the aura around him, even as a young child, that this is really a special person. And can you imagine what the aura was like around Jesus back in his day? That must have been something. But they decided that Krishnamurti, they would train him, and over time, he would become the world teacher and lead people, because everybody was looking for the great world teacher. And it worked out pretty well through his early teens and 20s. He became an excellent speaker, and as time went on, he finally realized that this is not the way it's really supposed to be, because people were looking to him as the person that knew everything. Whereas he said, look, people need to discover for themselves what is really the main point of their life. And so he disbanded this whole organization But he continued on traveling and speaking around the world for the rest of his life, with the idea that people need to understand how their minds are working, how we've been conditioned through all of the things that we do throughout our lives, and that from that point on, he realized that people need to discover for themselves, as we do, the problems within our lives, how we relate to others, and the conditioning that inevitably happens as we react with everyone from day to day. The process of the meditation was important to Krishnamurti, but not in the sense of a certain technique or a formula. His definition for meditation was that it was the awareness of oneself from moment to moment in action. That gives us a little different take on meditation, as the increase in our understanding comes from the natural quieting of the mind by watching how we respond to everything around us and observe the conditioning that has invariably taken place over the years. The freedom to observe ourselves and how we respond to varying situations will always allow us to grow in self-understanding. Our men's group that meets here once a month does really have freedom at the core of its purpose. We want to be free and have a full exchange of ideas, realizing that by being opening and listening to others fully, we can gain new insight into our own thinking and also how our mind actually works. Now, I think that we've probably solved most of the world's problems in that group, all the way from global warming to the economy to the border crisis. But we get down to the local things as well, how to fill potholes, and what's your favorite restaurant, and men's health issues. All of those things are important, they get touched upon. Yet we always couch our comments on the human perspective of the issue, realizing that all of our concerns really have a spiritual basis, and that's at their core, and that helps us to temper our conversation with that in mind. For example, recently we were discussing the nature of reality, and we were wondering what happens after the passing of the physical body. And through much discussion, we came down to the conclusion that it was the formula E equals MC squared. That's what it is. Because we're really all energy. And so our conversation would look at something like, maybe something solid like this lectern here, and we think, when you get right down to the subatomic particle level of all the protons, neutrons, and electrons, there's really a vast amount of space all around those things. So if we're all empty space, how do we get around? And the thing is that we're really nothing but energy. So whatever it is that's animating us, from something solid to soft and mushy to liquids and gases, it's really different parts of energy. And when we have the freedom to discuss things such as this, it gives us a greater insight and perspective on how to lead our lives to grow in consciousness. While keeping our minds open and free is essential for our responses to people, there is often a time when a different approach might be necessary. This was pointed out in one of the recent Daily Word articles regarding forgiveness. It mentioned that we may become aggravated or upset by the actions of another, and our reactions may lead us to say or do things that we will later regret. Jesus reminded us to forgive over and over again, as often as necessary. This was not to free others of their responsibilities, but to free ourselves from carrying the burden of resentment. When we forgive, we free ourselves. Who we are is greater than what we have done. The same is true for others. Remembering this allows us to keep from holding on to the pain and allows us to be more accepting of others and ourselves. We can forgive others for their actions and words, and we can also forgive ourselves for our reactions and words. We can say, as we forgive, we are set free. Symbols play an important role in helping to remind us of the freedom that we have in our lives. Our flag up here is probably one of the most prominent ones that everyone is aware of. It has the 13 stripes, the red and white stripes, representing the 13 colonies. Also has the 50 equal stars on it, representing the states, but they are all in one union. Emmett Fox, who I mentioned earlier, also had a commentary on the uniqueness of the United States regarding the extraordinary system of spiritual symbols running through our national life. One of the most common symbols that is in possession of all people, that rich or poor alike, we have our hands on every day. And that, of course, is money. Now, while money may seem to be the most common, matter-of-fact thing in life, it is actually the material expression of the most fundamental thing in the universe, which is substance itself. and of the balance of relationship of service between individuals. To understand the value of money is to be prosperous and free. To misunderstand it will eventually mean impoverishment in some form. To make a god of money is to make a slave of oneself. But money correctly understood is a device enabling us to make a just return to our fellow man for his service while retaining our own freedom. As far as the spiritual basis for money, I would like to mention a couple things about one of the coins that we have every day. This is a quarter, 25 cents. How important could this possibly be? Well, it symbolizes for us something that's very important. This happens to be a 1974 quarter. On the front is George Washington, our first president. On the back happens to be a bald eagle, which has a whole bunch of other symbology associated with it. But I would just like to mention a few of the things that are on this quarter. Of course, George Washington, our first president, on the front. Above his head is the word liberty. Now, what is liberty but the freedom from all limitation of sin, sickness, and death? Very important concept for us. Underneath George Washington's chin are the words, "In God we trust." Now, is that not the sum of all human wisdom? The greatest danger attached to the possession of money is the feeling that people may have a false security, that they have to take care of everything themselves and their own riches. But right here on the quarter, we have a symbol for ourselves, "In God we trust." On the other side of the coin is one of the greatest mottos of all time. Nothing less than the cosmic law condensed down into just 3 words. The whole Bible written in a nutshell. Wouldn't it be nice to just read these 3 words? That's all you need. If we understood it, it probably would. Of course, those 3 words are e pluribus unum, out of many, one. This is the whole story of man's discovery of the truth about God, and man first believed, because man first believes himself to be separate from God and the divine. He believes in many gods, and eventually he comes to believe in one God. And after that, he comes to the point of knowing his unity or oneness with God, which really is his salvation. He realizes the cosmic truth: many but one, one but many. This is the whole story of God and man, where Jesus said, "I and the Father are one." And here it is on every coin that we handle. The Bible is written to teach this truth to mankind. We say there is only one presence and one power, but that presence diversifies itself into the universe and individualizes itself in man, and yet without ceasing to be one. E pluribus unum. Now, the concept of freedom covers the gamut of our experiences, from national considerations to our own individual lives. Reverend Martin Luther King, in his "I Have a Dream" speech, explained at the end, free at last, thank God Almighty, I am free at last." This is an acknowledgement that on a countrywide basis, we want to be free and to interact on an equal footing. As again, from a unity perspective, we share the one life, and we need to have policies that ensure our rights will be guaranteed in equality. His claiming and recognition of his own innate freedom set the stage to pursue policies necessary to see it manifest in the outer world. King's message in 1963 that the promise of the Declaration of Independence had not been fulfilled for all people was no doubt true at the time. Hopefully, we can continue the progress we have made to allow this goal of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to become a reality for all citizens. I was listening to a congressman speaking on TV about a month ago. Because today's July 4th, and this was on June 6th. Of course, June 6th is the anniversary of the D-Day invasion in World War II, with the Allies storming the beaches in France and Normandy, and they began the final push to liberate Europe and allow freedom to prevail. This congressman was asking us to remember the sacrifices of those men for our freedom, as well as the recognition 1 week earlier, on May 30th, of Memorial Day. He noted that on the other specific day in the year that we honor our military, that is on Veterans Day in November, we acknowledge all the people who have served in the armed forces. But on Memorial Day, besides a day off from work and and a time for cookouts and family gatherings. It is the one day of the year where we remember those who gave the full measure for us to live in freedom. And while we can talk to veterans today and thank them for their service, as we should, we can't go back and ask those people who have given the full measure already. Those young people in their late teens and 20s, maybe in their 30s, who had their whole lives in front of them, yet they willingly gave it up for us. What this congressman did ask us to ponder, though, was, what if those who gave their lives, what if they could talk to us? What would they say? He determined that one question they might ask was it worth it? Was it worth it? Was the sacrifice that I gave worth it? What have you done with the opportunity to live in freedom? Do we live in an open and free society where we can exchange our ideas without fear of recrimination or censoring? Do we listen to others and hear what their Christ Spirit has to say before responding? Freedom is not free, and it is not a given. Civilization can be a rather fine line. Today, as we contemplate the freedoms we have and how we got here, let us remember what it takes to allow us to express and expand our personal freedoms, as well as the freedom of all those whom we meet. So it is.
One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright.
Yes, sir. All right. Now it's time for our offertory prayer. Again, we have the basket in the back. If you'd like to put your contribution there, we appreciate all those who have contributed to support our church financially with their love offerings, either through the mail or online or here at church. So feel free to put something in the basket if you like on your way out. Let us say our offertory blessing together, please. The love of God inspires me to give in the spirit of generosity. I give with love and joy to ensure the growth of this ministry and this unity center. And so it is. Thank you, God. Well, we have a few announcements here today. First one being not only the birthday of our nation, but it's also the birthday of several people in the congregation. So we're happy to have that. Let's just see who they are. Kathy Alvey, Shar Taylor, Ruth Madsen, Kathy Ledwith, Dorothy Brown, Mark Michelson, Cindy Kellum, and Barbara Sherwin. I think we got them all. And we're going to wish them a big happy birthday. If we could just sing together, please. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you. Pause in the middle. All those who have birthdays that are here, come on up. Come on, Shar came all the way from Florida just to be here for her birthday. Our presence is your presence. Thank you for coming. And second verse, different from the first. Spirit's blessing you now. Spirit's blessing you now. Spirit blessing you, you're wonderful. Spirit blessing you now. All right. So we have t-shirts, I believe, as well downstairs at $18. And that's our cost, meaning we don't got profit from the sale. So feel free to pick them up. Talk to Jules afterwards if you would like to get one. And at this time, I'd like to ask Diane to come up. And she has a few words to say on the Hidden Treasures fundraiser.
Hi, I just want to say thank you to everyone. The Hidden Treasures, I feel was a success. We had lousy weather.
Oh, yeah.
But all of you came through. You brought and you donated. And then you came and you purchased. And then you also helped pack up and haul the remainder things to your favorite charities. So I can only say thank you, thank you, thank you. This was our first year trying to do this as a fundraiser for your very beautiful spiritual home. So I wanted to personally say thank you, but I wanted to make sure those of you here also got it in print. So again, thank you very much.
And thank you, Diane, for all the work that you did and all the committee, and so we really appreciate that. Okay. Thank you to everybody today, Diane Pauly, Leanne Tevish, Ruth Mattson, and all the helpers of the Hidden Treasures fundraiser. So thank you for that. And help us, of course, with Amazon Smile. You get something for every purchase that you make, so please feel free to join us in doing that to help support the church. We have another couple of big dates coming. September 11th is the date for Sue Kilton, and Paulie's been working, setting up the advertising and getting the pet animal blessing going. So just to keep that on the calendar, it's getting closer every day. So that's great. Men's Fellowship meets second Saturday. And that's next Saturday, so come on, be here and help share with each other and solve more of the world's problems. There's only a couple left, and enjoy the fellowship with it as well. So we have a good time with that. So we'll be meeting right here at 9:30 next Saturday. And the ladies, their Circle of Friends meeting the third Saturday of the month. That will be the following Saturday. So I know they have a wonderful time with that as well. So enjoy those opportunities. And now we have our closing song, God Bless America. So all please stand.
Bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white with gold. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with gold. God bless us. God bless America. Land that I love.
There we go.
Fade to black.
Fade to black.
God bless America. All right. Now we do our prayer for protection, please. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we go forward today so thankful for the liberty that we have and the blessings we have been given. And we work day by day, moment by moment, to ensure that they continue forever and ever, because we are so blessed and we know that we are one with each other. And for that, we are so grateful. Amen. And so it is. Amen.